by clarifying something. I do not see myself as a prophet. I see myself more as a spiritual hobo, struggling for peace, for hope in a world that's filled with violence, trying to hold on to my joy, really trying not to let my anger consume me in the midst of such needless suffering in our world. I think it's best that I just share with you, perhaps, as we all have our story to tell, our journey to share, experiences, people who have touched my life as they have touched your life, who change us, who stretch us, challenge us, and who hopefully will bring us closer to God, the Holy One, the Creator, the source of life, and really closer to sisters and brothers in ourselves. When I was growing up in a small town in Louisiana, we didn't talk much about peace and justice. When we gathered into our little church on a Sunday, most of us Catholic in that little community, we did not critique our country's foreign policy. We did not question our leaders. We had so much trust in them. And that's why I think it was so easy for me to join the military when I left the university there in Louisiana with a degree in geology. They said to us that our cause was noble in Vietnam. We were going to be the liberators, the same language that they used to justify the invasion, the occupation of Iraq. And like many during the days of Iraq, bought into that lie, I and so many bought into the lie of Vietnam. Isaiah, the Old Testament prophet, says it so well. He said they will take evil and call it good. They will take the lie and call it truth. And our leaders and the leaders of other countries have become very skilled at this. And we often buy into that evil, that lie, as something good and true. And but we change. We change. We have what we call conscience. We have a heart. And we have what we call compassion in that heart. And suffering, death, destruction will change us. And that's what happened to us in Vietnam. Such death and destruction, so needless. Over 2 million Vietnamese killed. Some 58,000 of our own came back in body bags. And losing friends in Vietnam and wounded there and seeing the suffering of so many of the Vietnamese, it shook me. It little by little drove me into the arms of God. And that's what war does. It makes us look within. I've come to the conclusion that we are not made for war. Tens of thousands coming back from Iraq as we did from Vietnam with the post-traumatic stress. The many suicides, the many soldiers on Prozac, all points to the simple conclusion: we are not made for war. Our God does not bless war. Our Creator does not bless killing. The Holy One does not bless violence, hardship, discrimination. War is of our making. And whenever I speak in a lot of high schools and colleges and wherever I speak, I think it's so important to say to students, beware of those who say that you have to go off to war. First, know that those who declare the war, will not go to fight it, nor will their sons and daughters go. And there can be nothing more serious than having leaders of a country countries say that you have to go to war. Because there's a good possibility you will die and you will be forced to kill sisters and brothers. And you will do battle with the demons for many, many years. There will never be peace in your heart. And if you die, know that the lives of your loved ones will never be the same. They will grieve forever. And before you go off to that war, we have to think about these things. I just came back 2 weeks ago from Minnesota, where I attended the Veterans for Peace Convention. Hundreds of Vietnam veterans and Iraq vets came together to reflect on our experience in the military and how, for different reasons, we went from warriors to resistors, from warriors to peacemakers. There were things that happened to us. We're all changed in different ways by that experience. Some of us went back to Vietnam. I went back a few years ago to apologize what we did there. And hopefully some of us will be going to Iraq to apologize to what we have done there and continue to do. And I had a letter that simply said, I and others are sorry for the death, the suffering, the destruction that we have caused to your people, your country. And in that month-long trip from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City, stopping all along the way with that letter in Vietnamese, I met a monk, a Buddhist monk, who said to me, he said, you know, our greatest enemy in life is ignorance. Ignorance. And I think about that, our experience in the U.S. We know so little about our country's foreign policy, countries like Vietnam, countries like Iraq, Iran, Latin America. Their cultures, their history is so much older than our own, their religious beliefs, and that ignorance will get us in big trouble. And this holy monk said, our weapon must be wisdom. Our weapon must be love and nonviolence. And I think about those words daily. It's our only way out of the madness of war. I came home, was just grateful to be alive, back with family and friends from Louisiana. I entered the Marinol community, a group working in 25 countries around the world, serving the poor. I wanted to try to rediscover the hope I once had and that joy I once had in my life. And I found it in the Marinol community. And then I was sent after ordination to Bolivia to serve the poor, where this slum on the outskirts of La Paz became my home for the next 5 years. And the poor in this barrio became my teachers. They taught me so much. They introduced to this gringo their struggle. A struggle that was not complicated. It was about liberation from poverty and oppression. Most of the people there throughout the developing world struggling for survival, living on the edge, children dying before their time, most not making it beyond the age of 4 or 5. Few schools, few clinics. Bolivia was ruled by a brutal dictator, General Banzer, that my country, our country, was supporting, which saddened me and angered me.